Today we're at Epcot ranking every single ride from worst to best. Please don't get mad at us. Starting off really strong with our number 12 selection, Mission Space. Now the reason I say strong is because this is a very, very intense ride, and that's probably the reason why most people, I think even most people watching, will probably rank this at their number 12 of all of the rides here at Epcot. There are two different modes here on this ride, two different avenues you could choose to go, and that is orange and green. Orange is the more intense, green is the less intense, but still kind of intense, especially if you have any claustrophobic tendencies or anything like that. It's definitely something to recommend or consider when riding this ride. Orange still goes to Mars, which is really cool, but the graphics on that are definitely stuck in 2004 when it opened, I believe.
This is also placed at number 12 for me. I mean, I think that was like the easiest decision that I made for this whole list. I don't think I've been on this attraction since I was a small child, and I remember screaming and crying and almost throwing up. I get really claustrophobic and I don't like simulators, and that is like the worst of both worlds for that. Like this is, I don't know, I think they need to do something else with this ride. They could do something so much better.
I do want to leave you guys with a positive from Mission Space here, and that is that Space 220 is here, and it's one of my favorite restaurants, if not my favorite restaurant at Epcot right now, correct?
No comment.
What do you mean no comment? It's so... Ranking in at number 11, we have American Adventure. Kristen even questioned why I put it on this list in the first place, and I'm sure a lot of you are asking the same thing. This is not a ride, but out of every other show, Circle Vision film, interactive walkthrough, whatever, this probably has the most money and effort poured into it because of the amount of animatronics that are in the show alone, and I really, really think it is deserving of the top tier attraction, but maybe it's just not, it's one that I won't ride, so that's why it's at number 11. Only other reason why I don't rank this so high is because they do really breeze over a few moments in history, I don't want to really get in, they don't acknowledge which one of the brothers it was in the wrong, which they definitely should mention. The one wearing gray was in the wrong. But that's just, it's not just me, it's everyone. I feel like everybody should agree on that, correct? And also the handshake between Benjamin Franklin and Mark Twain is really funny because each year it gets further and further apart because I feel like they keep bumping into each other and then just exuberating hydraulic fluid everywhere on stage, I'm sure. I haven't seen it personally, but their handshake gets further and further, and it's kind of funny. It's good. I love it.
American Adventure is number 9 on my list. I do enjoy this show. I think it's quite impressive with all the animatronics and the way the stage kind of works. I think it is very impressive. However, it does put me to sleep, but it is a great place to sleep. The theater itself is great. I think it's a beautiful theater in there. But yeah, a little bit of a snoozer for me. One other thing I do want to mention, did you know that I once watched the American Adventure with legendary Walt Disney Imagineer Tony Baxter? I was actually walking into the theater and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Tony Baxter. I went up to him, got a photo, said hi, said I loved his work, and yeah, he was in the same show as me, so that was really cool.
Coming in at number 10, we have the Three Caballeros, and the longer name that I forgot, but will probably be on the screen right now. For this one, we're actually seated over here in the restaurant that's inside of the Mexico Pavilion. If you can't tell, this is definitely the only reason we're here, and Kristen did not do a video highlighting this that you could find in the links down below, as long as she posted it yet. I don't know which order we're posting these videos, but these are going to be slightly delayed because tomorrow at the time of recording is the first day of Festival of the Arts, so it's a big week here. Just like Mission Space and the American Adventure, I do not do this every single time that I come to the parks. Actually, I rarely do this. Maybe once a year, really depending on the wait time, which right now is fairly low. I like the last scene, but the rest of it is really just screens, but according to the ride that was previously here, they did have a lot of screens just like that as well, but they were film projectors and obviously weren't these nice high quality screens, and it was pretty much the same ride, just minus the Three Caballeros themselves.
I know this is a fan favorite attraction, but I feel like it gets that same hype that Living with the Land does, where people lie and say they actually like this ride. I mean, like Ryan said, the beginning is fairly boring, the end is good with the animatronics and stuff. I like going on it after getting a little beverage at La Cava and then walking on it. Usually doesn't have a line, but Another thing about this attraction, I always feel a little scared on there.
It is very low to the water.
It is very low to the water, yes. That's why I always have that like slight fear that I'm gonna like tip over, but it's probably like 2 feet of water, if that, so I think it'd be good. And I don't think it'd ever actually tip, but like, just a little fear of mine. And look at these people going by right now, look at them. Hey guys! Want a chip?
Throw him a chip. No.
I would never do that. Don't actually do that, please.
Number 9, The Seas with Nemo and Friends. Normally, the only reason I go in here is to check on my friends, Lil Joe, and the other one that I forgot the name of, so we're obviously not that close. But this ride is perfect for like young kids who love Finding Nemo, and it's a traditional dark ride, so on that aspect, it's really good. There's not a lot of like actual animatronics in this ride. It's a lot of screens, especially in a ride where like you do have a whole lot of stuff to look at, and like with the tanks, and that whole aspect of it is great, but we are highlighting the rides, not the pavilions here. If we were to highlight the pavilions, obviously this would rank much higher in my opinion than number 9.
All right, Nemo is number 7 for me. I am pretty indifferent about this ride. It's not bad, it's not great. One of my favorite parts is the effect where like the piranha is chasing Marlin. I think that part is really cool when it's working, because a lot of the times it's not. And then like Ryan, I like the end when you are like going through the aquarium. I think that part is really cool, but it could be better, I feel. Another good thing about this attraction is that it's almost never above a 15-minute wait. A good 15-minute break in the AC. Can't complain there. And then it dumps you out into the aquariums, where you also have Turtle Talk with Crush, which is something that we're not like really putting on this list completely. It's fun, but I think Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor and Magic Kingdom is better when it comes to attractions like that.
Number 8, Frozen Ever After. Now, if you can't tell, I am not the biggest fan of the Frozen movie franchise. I haven't even seen the very first Frozen movie all the way through once yet. I will get to it. I promise I'll get to it. Way back in June of 2022, we did a video where we counted down like all the World Showcase pavilions, and the Frozen ride was part of the reason why I feel like the Norway pavilion ranks so low, is because the line is usually taking up so much of this pavilion. Right now, obviously it's not taking up so much of the pavilion, but it's still like, I feel like that's like the entire pavilion now as of this point. And before, when it used to be the other ride, which was Maelstrom.
What kind of Epcot fan are you? You didn't even know that? Ryan calls himself like an Epcot history and Disney historian.
Ryan, cut this out. But I feel like back when it used to be Maelstrom, like it was not defining this entire pavilion as where the Frozen one does, because it is a very valuable intellectual property.
So Frozen is actually number 5 on my list. I really like this ride. Frozen 2 is my favorite Disney movie of all time, so that might play a little bit of a part in it. I would really like if they kind of redid this a little bit and like reimagined it to mimic Frozen 2 instead of just like the regular Frozen. And while I do like the Frozen ride, I think a better Norwegian attraction for this pavilion would be a ride based on the story and the history of Geirnes.
Who is that, for people who don't know?
He created the Layla perfume that they have here in the Norway pavilion, and it's so good. And he's just an icon, a cultural icon for Norway. We need a Geirnes ride.
Ranking in at number 7, Living with the Land. I know Kristen is definitely going to be disagreeing with me on this, so I'm sure you'll hear from her later. But the main reason this ranks like direct center in the middle of this list is because like I don't always have to ride it. I don't hate it. But it's also like not something I'm like eager to sprint to at the very beginning of the day. One other thing I do want to mention, I feel like there's a huge portion of the Disney Parks fan base that like pretends that this is their favorite ride when it's really not. And they're just like, ooh, well, I'm going to pick the one that nobody's going to say. And like, it's really boring, but like, I'm going to be edgy by saying this, including Dan. Liar. Maybe I should cut that out.
If we filmed this video pre-May 2022, Living with the Land would be my number 1. But since Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind has opened here in Epcot, Living with the Land has dropped down to my number 2 spot. And Ryan is just a huge, huge hater. He's just mad that Living with the Land gets all the respect it deserves. No, but for real, I have always loved this attraction. Our mother can tell you. Every time we would come here as children, my mom never wanted to ride this attraction, and I would always be the one like, no, Mom, we have to go on Living with the Land. I've always loved this ride. And then in 2018, I got the opportunity to work here. And to this day, it's the best place that I have ever worked in my career at Disney. It just made my love for this attraction grow even more. And you know what else made my love for this attraction grow even more? The holiday version of this ride. Shimmering, glimmering greenhouses, which Ryan also hates, and he's shaking his head behind the camera. But it's just so cozy, relaxing. I love seeing all of the stuff that they're growing in the greenhouse.
Personally, I have no idea what everybody is hyped about for the holiday overlay on Living with the Land. It's literally just Christmas lights. You can see these displays being modeled over at Home Depot or Lowe's. Like, there's nothing crazy about this. It's...
Please yell at Ryan in the comments right now.
All caps. I better see all those comments in all caps. Before we move on to the next point in our list here, I do have a guest appearance of a little bit of judgment on a ride that we just rode together. Our friend Hudson is here and wants to give a little peace of mind to Kristen about how Living with the Land might not be in the top 3, right? You think so?
So I think that Living in the Land is probably in my top 5. It's number 5 in Epcot.
What was your favorite scene? You mentioned you like which scene?
The desert scene.
The desert scene?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites too. And I told you about like how the buffalo in that are from a ride that was supposed to be at Magic Kingdom. Do you ride this every time you come?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Okay. Bye. We have officially reached the halfway point in this countdown video of rides here at Epcot, and I do want to ask, please let me know what your list is in the comment below. Obviously, you could wait till the end so you could do like a direct comparison, but I really, really am interested in seeing what you guys are saying, and I'm going to try to reply to as many as possible, so please let me know. Like, start writing it now, and then maybe press publish once this video's over. Okay, thanks. Ranking it at number 6, we have Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. I believe this is one of ours on this list that probably ranks where it does for the most part because it's so new, but is that a bad thing? I really don't think so. It's definitely not one of them that I have to ride every single time I'm at this park, but I think for sure it's a good cross between the like screen ride and then the physical element ride, even though the physical elements and the sets of this ride are really only during like a few select scenes, but I still really like it. I like the line itself. I like the exit. Very, very fun theming, and also like the new area. We unlocked a brand new area of this park with this ride, which is a huge, huge positive.
Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is my number 4 attraction here at Epcot. I definitely think that an attraction on like this side of the world showcase, like an actual ride was huge. I think it was so necessary because I wish more of the countries had like actual rides, because right now we're only at what? Remy's, Mexico, and Norway? Like, I think we could use some more rides. I also really love the movie Ratatouille. Maybe it's because I really like food. So, yeah, I like this ride a lot. And also, I think it produces the best scent that you could find at Disney World. Better than the Soarin oranges, better than Flight of Passage, the fresh baguette scent in that one part of the ride. You can actually smell like a fresh baguette. I think it smells so good. That's my favorite scent at Disney World.
I think now is a better time than ever to mention our honorable mentions, because there are a lot of rides at Epcot and I kind of wanted to keep this video under 30 minutes. Obviously, first and foremost, the most recently opened The Journey of Water, inspired by Moana, and I probably, out of all the other ones that we didn't highlight, this is probably the top of all of those, as well as Turtle Talk with Crush is one that we didn't highlight, and then all the other like Circle Vision films, The Wonders of China, which I would probably place at number 1 over any of the rides here because I love it so much, and then also the O Canada Show, or whatever it's called now, the Impressions of France, the sing-along that's also in that same theater. What else am I missing?
I think you got them all. The Rhine River Adventure.
R.I.P. I don't know. Oh, the friendship boats. There's so many things we didn't highlight because we're trying to keep this condensed, and 12 is already so much. Ranking in at number 5 on my list is Test Track. Ever since I was young, this used to be like one of my favorite rides, probably like the go-to where I would go to first here when coming to Epcot. Obviously, it's changed quite a bit since then. They did have a complete like overhaul from the original like test dummy style of it to the current Tron version of it in the early 2010s. I really do still hold this ride in a very special place in my heart, specifically for the fact that this was like the only thrill ride here at Epcot up until 2 years ago. And I don't want to mention the other one because it might be appearing later in this list.
A lot of you guys are going to be very mad at me, but Test Track ranks at my number 10 spot. I really do not like this attraction. I feel like the making of the car is a complete waste of time because I feel like there's almost no point since it just like displays the results that are never actually displayed correctly because everything in this ride I feel like is pretty much always broken. I also think it's a massive downgrade from the OG, and I'm very excited that this is getting like overhauled and reimagined. I cannot wait for that because I used to love Tash Track back in the day. It used to be one of my favorite rides, and ever since they changed it to whatever this is, it's at the bottom.
Like Kristen said, the customizable like nature of this is not really, it leaves a lot to be desired. I still really enjoy this ride and I think it's good and I cannot wait for the overhaul that they should be starting soon that they announced, but it is Disney, so maybe it won't happen. I don't know. Ranking in at number 4, we have Journey into Imagination with Figment. Now, normally I believe probably before this year, I probably would rank this ride a little bit lower, but since the reintroduction of the Figment meet and greet at the very end, does this count? Am I allowed to do this, Kristen?
That is not part of the ride.
Well, I'm making it count, okay? I have so much love for the Figment character itself. This is definitely probably one of the worst versions of this ride. They've had multiple different versions of the Imagination Pavilion rides, and I wish they were to plus it up maybe, but I feel like if they were to do that, they would introduce some new characters and maybe get rid of other ones. I don't know. I relate a lot to Dr. Nigel Channing as well, because normally when I'm filming videos, I have this annoying person who's with me trying to ruin every single shot that I do. That's a complete joke, please. Let's see what my sister Kristen thinks about it.
I think Ryan was alluding to the fact that I was the annoying person next to him, and he would be right because I do not like this ride. Journey into Imagination is my number 11. I am a Figment hater. I don't understand the hype, and I think this ride is really just not good. Like, there's no, I find it, like, Ryan finds it hard to believe that people actually like Living with the Land. I am that same way about Figment. I don't understand how people like this, and I think everyone's just hyping it up just to say they like the Purple Dragon. Again, let us know in the comments, because I feel like you're either like a Figment hater or a Figment lover, and there's no in between. So let us know in the comments what one you are. I am a hater, Ryan is a lover.
Also, make sure if you are a hater of Figment, smash that unsubscribe button, because we can no longer be friends. That's a joke. Actually, should I not say that? I should not. That's not a good tactic for YouTube.
I will say, though, even though I hate this attraction, I always loved coming over here because they had one of the greatest Disney World snacks of all time. The buffalo popcorn from that snack stand right there that has been gone. I think since COVID, they used to have flavored popcorn, cheddar, sour cream and chive and buffalo blue cheese. Get them all mixed together, and it was so good. So if that was still open, Figment might be higher.
Number 3, Spaceship Earth. I love Spaceship Earth. The ball is great. What?
I forgot we had to do this.
Kristen's like, what is he doing with this camera pointing up? Like, what? I feel like I'd be committing a crime to all Disney Parks fans everywhere if this did not rank within the top 3 of my personal list. I do love Spaceship Earth, and this is honestly one of the ones that I kind of have to ride almost every single time I'm here at the park. It is such an information-packed ride. It's actually probably one of the only parts of Epcot that still remains true to the original edutainment, part, how they launched the park, and it has not changed a lot other than voiceovers and a few additions and subtractions of some scenes. We were supposed to get a full refurb of this that was announced in August of 2019 at D23, and that because of all the shutdowns and stuff that was scheduled a week after the park shut down in March of 2020 didn't end up happening, and it doesn't look like that's on the docket anytime soon. But my hopes are still high, and I love Spaceship Earth, and there's really nothing else they could do with this space, unfortunately.
Spaceship Earth is my number 6. Yes, it's a classic. I love the fact that you get to go inside the ball. I think that part is really cool, but a refurbishment is greatly needed. They need to redo a little bit of this ride, and I was really excited for the refurb that was supposed to happen, but looks like we're stuck with this very old version of Spaceship Earth for a while. It's a ride that you have to go on. Like, if you're on vacation, you have to go on Spaceship Earth. You have to go inside the ball. Also, probably a major part of it needing a refurb is not only because I'd love to see some enhancements to the scenes, but also it definitely is a rough ride. This is like, if this was a coaster, it would literally throw people out of the vehicle. Because it's so slow, I feel like that's a huge positive.
but it's very like like all the time. And if you've ridden it in the past 10 years, you know that.
Sweatshirt check.
What are we looking for?
We are looking for the Black Mickey crew. I did order it on Shop Disney, but I just feel the need to still check. So like, I don't know why.
It's like a sport.
It is. It's like a. I'm like on the hunt for it. I just want to find it in store. Yeah, it was right here the other day. I don't think they have any of them.
This looks. Why don't you get one?
I actually do like this.
Which brings us to number 2. That is Soarin'. Now, the only reason for me that Soarin' does not rank at number 1 is because there are 2 different versions of Soarin'. I've talked about it before. I personally prefer Soarin' over California way, way more over like Soarin' around the world, but still it is one of my all-time favorite attractions. Something we mentioned in the Hollywood Studios video where we ranked all of the rides, and it does ring true to Soarin'. It's also like a very, very innovative ride format that not a lot of other rides can boast, especially because it's just like with the system and the screen, and there's so many other rides that have copied Soarin', which they have one over at Legoland. They have like the flight over the cities thing that they have in New York and Vegas. And it's just like, it's a very, very clear-cut type of ride, and it saved California Adventure like a 100%.
Shout out Michael Eisner. Shout out to Michael Eisner again.
Shout out Michael Eisner. And I know Kristen likes this one, but not as much as I do.
I don't know what Ryan is talking about because Soarin' is actually my number 3 attraction here at Epcot. Again, used to rank much higher until Cosmic Rewind released. But yeah, it's such a great ride. I agree with Ryan. Soarin' over California is great. And I was so happy. Is it still currently Soarin' over California?
It says now taking flight, which that's what it said for California, so maybe.
Okay, so Soarin' over California is so much better, and I'm so happy that they're bringing it like seasonally to Epcot, because they would bring it seasonally to DCA, and we finally got the chance to have it again here in Epcot. It's definitely the superior version of the ride, and yeah, either way, around the world I still like it, but over California is better.
And last but not least, our number 1 ride in all of Epcot, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. I feel like a ton of you probably saw this one coming. As mentioned before, I absolutely love thrill rides, and this is by far the best thrill ride in the park, if not all of Walt Disney World. I'd probably have to maybe put Space Mountain above this still, just because I love... Don't be offended. Listen, Space Mountain is a classic, and everybody loves Space Mountain, including Kristen.
I do, but not better than Guardians.
Oh, the monorail's going, so I should continue the shot? I think they knew this was a good shot. So they're like, oh, let's get the shot. I don't know if you noticed, there is a very professional Disney video crew just filming in front of Guardians, but they saw my awesome framing and were like, we got to do that. So, pretty much the director of whatever project they're working on right now. Imagineer Ryan, here I am. For those who somehow maybe are not aware of Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, it did open in April of 2022, correct?
Incorrect. We had this argument earlier.
We did film this clip earlier, but because it's dark out now and it's the end of the video, we want to record again. It opened in May of 2022. I wrote it in April for the first time of 2022. It includes 6 different songs that are all different options that you could possibly get on this ride. You do not get to pick. It gives it to you. I got every single song except for September, and then like 2 years after it opened, I got September finally for the first time in a video recently on Epcot. At Epcot.
No surprise here, Guardians is also my number 1. I think it's such an awesome coaster. It's smooth. It is accessible for people of all sizes, which is really awesome. The seats are comfortable, and I love the thrill of like, what song are we going to get? What song are we going to get? Which my favorite song is actually a very unpopular opinion. My favorite is I Ran. I don't know. I feel like that everyone's favorite is like September. So everyone's always like, really, when I say that? But yeah, it's such a smooth ride, such an awesome thrill coaster. It does spin. So if you do get motion sickness, maybe watch like a POV ride of it, or just like make sure you take like Dramamine or something before. Keep that in mind. But yeah, it's such an awesome roller coaster.
And with all of that, I do want to say thank you so much for watching today's countdown video. If there's anything that we got completely off, please angrily let me know in all caps in the comments down below, because I know that's what you guys like doing in the first place anyway. I won't take offense, and I'll try to reply to as much as I can. Okay, that's everything. Thanks for subscribing, all that YouTube stuff. Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye.